So with Alabama's season opener right around the corner, I wanted to talk today about some of the things Nick Saban said yesterday revolving Miami, and more specifically D'Eriq King, because Saban pointed out some attributes for the Miami quarterback that could be a challenge for the Crimson Tide defense, and I kind of want to go through it. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe that the Alabama defense will be itching to make a statement against Miami? Let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel or you just haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscription button, hit the bell notification, that way you don't miss any of my uploads. I do constant college football content. I have a lot planned for the upcoming season, and I would love to have you a part of this journey. And if you did like this content, be sure to like and comment down below. But with all of that being said, let's talk about this, because when Saban was talking about Miami, he thought one of the things they would ultimately try and do to hurt the Tide is go up-tempo. But more specifically, Saban was sure to point out that it's the up-tempo in conjecture with D'Eriq King's athleticism that could be problematic, because Saban pointed out multiple areas in which D'Eriq King is effective, calling him a really good quarterback and a great athlete, pointing out that D'Eriq King can hurt you from outside the pocket as well as inside the pocket. Whether he intends to run the football as soon as he scrambles the pocket or using his legs to spring open more time for his receivers, you have always got to account for D'Eriq King being mobile, because he can just take off and run. He has unbelievable athleticism, and that is going to be something that I am very excited to see how the Tide are going to deal with. Now, luckily from Alabama's point of view, one of the strengths of this defense is going to be that pass rush. Christopher Allen coming back from last season and the Terminator looking to build upon that insane season he had last year should be something we look to be effective against Miami. But there's another component of this Alabama defense that I'm very excited to see come to fruition. And as much as I'm excited about the defensive front, it revolves around that middle linebacking core of Henry To'oTo'o and Christian Harris. And it actually brings me back to something I talked about the other day, and let me explain. Because when Nick Saban is talking about some of the things D'Eriq King does that can be problematic, him being able to make a play from inside the pocket, from outside the pocket, whether he chooses to run or uses his legs to spring open passing lanes, you need high-level communication and everybody on your defense being on the same page. One of the easiest ways to affect a quarterback, as we all know, is with insane pass rush, which Alabama looks to have this year. So they'll be lucky enough to, in theory, have opportunities to make D'Eriq King uncomfortable. But it's what they have on top of that, which is what I am so intrigued in seeing, and that's that middle linebacker duo. Because as awesome as Christian Harris is and as athletic as he is, we're all expecting him to have a big season because he had a big season last year. Leading the Crimson Tide in tackles, we know what this dude is capable of. He is an absolute beast at the middle linebacker position. But it's newcomer Henry To'oTo'o that to me is going to be such an intriguing piece in the Miami game, and it really all boils down to something I talked about the other day when I was talking about what I really liked about what I was hearing around Henry To'oTo'o, and that was his communication. Communication is key. Having all 11 people on the same page is what allows for a defense to do its job. The guy standing next to you has full faith that you're going to do your job, which allows them to focus completely on their job. Having an individual have complete cognizance about this high-level communication and then go that extra mile to be able to do it on a play-by-play basis is going to be massively important to the Tide in my estimation. And I think one of the things I was so excited hearing wasn't necessarily the praise from the coaching staff revolving To'oTo'o's communication, though that was certainly nice. It was when the players were starting to talk about To'oTo'o's communication. Because Will Anderson was sure to point out when he was interviewed a few weeks ago and asked about Henry To'oTo'o's contribution to the defense, he said that he's someone who keeps everybody accountable. He knows the defense. He's come in and worked very hard. He has a deep understanding of what they want him to do, and because of that, he's making calls. He's communicating at a high level, and he's keeping people accountable. I think that's massively important for a few different reasons, and I think that some of them are very obvious. But specifically when you play a mobile quarterback such as D'Eriq King, and some of the things that that Miami will look to do with tempo, having that communication at the linebacking core is going to be a complete difference maker in my opinion, and that's not even to really speak at length about what it is Alabama has along that front line, because I think that's going to be a ferocious unit. I'm very excited for this season opener for the Crimson Tide, and I'm going to be going in much more depth, really doing a breakdown of this matchup week 1 for the Crimson Tide, so look for that next week. But in the meantime, I'm really excited from hearing from y'all. What did you think about Saban's comments? I think that they were very interesting, and I completely agree that Miami will probably try and go tempo, because when you go tempo with a quarterback that is athletic as D'Eriq King is, it can create some problems. I understand Alabama has to replace a lot, but that's on the offensive side of the ball. And though they have a lot of inexperience on that side of the ball, I've been completely forthright and on the record saying I think that unit's going to come together sooner than some people are anticipating. And luckily for the Tide, the reason why I asked the question I did in the beginning is because I think that Crimson Tide defense is going to be looking to make a statement, returning 8 starters, but remember, they're able to mitigate the loss of Dylan Moses, which is still a loss, by having one of the top linebackers in all of college football transfer, Henry To'oTo'o from Tennessee. And the thing that makes To'oTo'o so special to me within this defense is we're already hearing how much he's communicating. And like Will Anderson said, he's keeping people accountable, which is really what you want to hear, because that discipline will be key when you have a quarterback that looks to move around like D'Eriq King. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.